Good evening, everyone. We begin the readout tonight with a vote that puts Republicans on the record, actively harming their own constituents by refusing to codify Roe v. Wade into law. Today, every single Republican senator voted against advancing the Women's Health Protection Act, which prohibits government restrictions on abortion. Even the so-called pro-choice Republicans, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, voted against it. You know, the same ones who claimed that this would never happen. After presiding over the vote, Vice President Kamala Harris called out Republican extremism.
This vote clearly suggests that the Senate is not where the majority of Americans are on this issue. It also makes clear that a priority for all who care about this issue, a priority should be to elect pro-choice leaders at the local, the state, and the federal level. Because what we are seeing around this country are extremist Republican leaders who are seeking to criminalize and punish women for making decisions about their own body.
Of course, the Democrats' in-house Cole Bear and Joe Manchin also voted no, claiming this bill goes too far. He's the only Democrat to do so, even though he is not the only Democrat in the Senate with a professed moral opposition to abortion. Bob Casey of Pennsylvania voted with the Democrats, saying that the circumstances around the entire debate on abortion have changed now that the Supreme Court decision has leaked and Republicans are floating a nationwide ban. His vote is especially significant, given that his father, the former governor of Pennsylvania, was the Casey in Planned Parenthood versus Casey, after signing legislation that had numerous restrictions on abortion, including the requirement that women notify their husbands before terminating a pregnancy. Senator Casey is proof that you can have genuine religious or personal beliefs about abortion without imposing those beliefs on other people. Ahead of the vote, Senate Democrats displayed a passionate united front, with Majority Leader Chuck Schumer noting that tens of millions of women are watching. And the House showed its support as well. Here they are chanting, "My body, my decision," as they marched over to the Senate side. Meanwhile, Republicans continue to make ridiculous arguments. Here's Montana Senator Steve Daines yesterday.
Why do we have laws in place that protect the eggs of a sea turtle or the eggs of eagles? Because when you destroy an egg, you're killing a preborn baby sea turtle or a preborn baby eagle. Yet when it comes to a preborn human baby, rather than a sea turtle, that baby will be stripped of all protections.
Oh, Senator, do you need to go back to biology class? Protecting sea turtle eggs has nothing to do with human mothers. Sea turtles lay their eggs and then they go back to the sea. And do you eat fried eggs? What are you talking about? When they weren't making ludicrous analogies, Republicans were attempting to distract and deflect by moaning about peaceful protesters outside the homes of Supreme Court justices, for example.
It is illegal to go try to intimidate a judge who's hearing a case at their home like it would be a juror.
It is an open effort to intimidate Supreme Court justices on their decision. It's illegal. It's improper. It should be condemned.
It is unlawful. It is against the law in this country to protest a sitting judge. It's meant to intimidate the justices.
It is an attempt to replace the rule of law with the rule of mobs. It appears this may possibly be flat out illegal.
Wah, 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 wah. They're citing a federal statute that says it is illegal to intimidate judges. But none of the protesters are expecting to be able to intimidate Samuel Alito into magically gaining a conscience and exiting his precious 19th century. The truth is, Republicans are grasping at straws and waving the shiny keys because they know that overturning Roe is extremely, extremely unpopular with the American people. The National Republican Senate Committee, chaired by Rick Scott, put out a memo telling Republicans to, quote, be the compassionate consensus builder on abortion policy and to refute lies, noting that Republicans don't want to take away contraception or to throw doctors and women into jail. No. Really? Well, as E.J. Dionne points out in the Washington Post, this is a bold-faced lie, noting that what legislators in Republican-led states are considering on reproductive issues does not square with what Republican pollsters want their candidates to say. Republican politicians have floated restricting birth control, and Louisiana's law would even allow murder charges for abortions for doctors and patients. Not to mention the fact that Mitch McConnell has acknowledged that if Republicans take the Senate, a nationwide abortion ban could be on the way. What's more, if Republicans really supported compassionate policies, I don't know, maybe they would, as Dion points out, support expanding health care, lower prescription drug prices, paid family leave and medical leave, and the child tax credit, all components of the Build Back Better bill, which they all oppose. But no. They are just hoping that they can somehow hoodwink the American voter into thinking they care about them while they steal women's freedom. But as Washington Senator Patty Murray said on the floor today, to applause, the voters will not forget. And Senator Patty Murray of Washington joins me now. And Senator, I wonder whether any of your Republican colleagues were able to look you in the eye after voting to side with Samuel Alito and send women's rights back to the 19th century.
No, Joy, they are not. They are sidetracking everybody with conversations that have nothing to do with the reality of the laws that they are now passing in states across the country and with what the leaked Supreme Court decision will do, which will basically mean that politicians, not you, will decide your future and your choices for your own body.
And I want to play you what Senator Ted Cruz, from one of the states with the lowest rankings when it comes to maternal health care, one of the highest rankings when it comes to things like poverty. They don't want to have the Affordable Care Act there. They don't want to allow people to have health care, all that kind of stuff. Here's the senator from that state, Ted Cruz, comparing abortion rights protesters to the January 6th insurrectionists. Here he is.
What we're seeing, these images, are the latest manifestation of just how extreme, just how radical the Democratic Party is getting. Today's Democrat Party believes in violence. They believe in mob rule. They believe in intimidation. These thugs have no business at the private homes of any government officials, these Supreme Court justices or anyone else. On January 6th of 2021, you had tens of thousands of people peacefully protesting, and yet the corporate media and Democrats slander them with the made-up term insurrectionist. And yet, in this instance, they are not willing to call off their goons.
So I don't know if we have video of the insurrection, just to show it again for those who maybe have forgotten what it looks like. They're comparing people who are holding candles outside of one of these, rights-stripping Supreme Court justices' homes to the people who busted into the Capitol, shat on the floor, and threatened to hang the Vice President of the United States while smashing through glass and trying to kill United States senators and members of Congress. Your thoughts?
Joy, that was one of the most offensive things I've heard, and I've heard a lot of offensive things since the Supreme Court leaked this memo. And I will tell you, I was here on January 6th. My life was threatened, and so was everyone else's, by people who wanted to take over the United States Senate and House by use of force. In this country, we use our voices and we use our votes to make our opinions known, and people have a right to do that. But this is nothing compared to January 6th. And I find that offensive. I find his words offensive. I find his tone offensive. And I find his message offensive. What we are talking about today are Republican politicians who are going to take over your choices in your life and tell you what they believe in is more important than you, and not only more important, but they're going to impose it on you. That, to me, is offensive. That is using words and legislative language and intent to take away your rights. Far different than what happened on January 6th.
Indeed. Let me just play you actually one more before I let you go, because here's Ron Johnson. He's basically said the same thing. He claims that, I'm going to just read what he said. He says that he expects abortion to be a non-issue in his re-election campaign. He says it might be a little messy for some people, but abortion is not going away, he said, saying that driving across state lines to Illinois would likely be an option if women just want to exercise their rights. I just don't think this is going to be a big political issue. Everybody thinks it is, because it's not going to be that big of a change. Your thoughts?
Ron, I'm glad that you've never had to make a decision about your own body, but I find it very offensive that you want to use your words to make decisions for other people and their bodies and their decisions. This is going to activate voters across the country. When women begin to realize the impacts of these state laws and the intent of the Republican Party that is clear to everyone to see today, that they want to take away your right to make your own choices about your own health care and your own reproductive rights. That is real and clear and will become more clear every single day as these states pass these laws and they go into effect. We intend to lift up the voices of women and men across the country and fight back in every single election in this country.